Welcome to Meet the Candidate 2022, recording here at the Dry Fly Distillery, and my guest for the session is MJ Bolt, who is a candidate for State Representative, 4th Legislative District. So welcome, MJ.
Thank you for having me.
I look forward to the opportunity to just get acquainted with some of your background and start with telling me, where did you grow up?
I actually grew up in southern Idaho and outside of a little town called Weiser, Idaho. It's a small farming community, and my dad still lives down there, so I grew up on a farm. And I attended school at a small little rural school called Annex that was 1 through 8 grades, had 60 kids, so it was pretty small. And then when I graduated from there, 8th grade, I went into the big town of Weiser and to school there, and it had about 100 kids per grade, so about 400 kids in the high school. And then when I transferred up here to Meade High School, the middle of my sophomore year, that was a big shock.
Yes, I can imagine.
Yeah, but I love the community of Weiser where I grew up, and it is where most of my roots are and a lot of where my beliefs come from.
Okay. So after graduating from Meade High School, did you pursue some further training or education?
Yeah, so I actually am a golfer, and that's part of the reason why we chose Meade is because my mom, had golfed my whole life, and Meade had a good program. So I graduated from Meade and got a golf scholarship to the University of Iowa. So I went back to Iowa for a couple years and played for them and actually helped them win the Big Ten championship my freshman year and got Freshman of the Year award for the Big Ten as well. And after a couple years, got homesick, was ready to come back home. So transferred back to Eastern, where I played golf for them as well.
Okay. And what did you pursue as your studies besides golf?
Well, I actually started out with a business and Russian was my initial degree, and I took a year of Russian, and it was awesome. I'd always had a fascination, but because I was gone so much with the golf team tournaments, it made it very hard. And so I kept pursuing that, but the second year, once I took statistics, it kind of did me in the business world. I always loved business, but that class did me in. And so then I pursued general studies. I found the humanities really fit me a lot more. And when I transferred back to Eastern, that's what I was doing, was general studies.
Okay. So growing up on a farm, if you're golfing a lot, you may not have had much time for work, but did you have a first job experience that helped you connect that, effort and reward?
Yeah, well, I did do a lot of work on the farm with my dad. I set siphon tubes. We irrigated our crops there, so I think I can remember how to set those. I did a lot of that. And he'd have me drive, multiple things or, help with ditches and stuff. So I did a lot of work around the farm. My mom was actually a small business owner too in Weiser. She had a codifying business where they put the laws and ordinances together in a code book for the cities, municipalities. And so I'd help actually do a lot of filing. As I probably since I was 8 or 10, she had me in their office doing different things and putting together the ordinances.
So is that part of what gave you an interest in looking into politics?
Well, I don't think it was that as much, but as through my pursuit with my kids and being involved with education is actually what's led me here. But I guess I did have some roots back in the day, right?
You did. So one of the other questions I ask candidates about is travel experiences that give you some broader context for options that you might bring to the community or to the state. Have you had some place that you've traveled that you've learned some lesson?
Well, I've definitely, in the role that I'm in right now, I'm on the State Board of Education, and I represent all of Eastern Washington. I'm elected by school board members east of the Cascades. So I've traveled all over Eastern Washington especially, and then all of the state the last 7 years. So I've gotten a breadth of experience of different communities, what they look like, how they function, and getting to know what their education concerns are. So that's helped me to see just the different communities and the different needs that we have across our state, for sure. Yeah, and then I also have traveled nationally a bit. I was on the board of our national association for a little bit for the State Boards of Education and have definitely connected with other boards and other people across the states finding out what they're doing in education.
Okay. So you are on the school board now?
On the State Board of Education,
yes.
Board
of Education.
Yep.
Okay. And the life today, besides that, your family and recreation interests in the area?
Oh, I love our area. We have the best area for recreation. Of course, our golfing in our community is fabulous, and I still golf a lot. I had taught golf for about 15 years. and haven't been teaching for a few years, but I love our golf courses. I love hiking. I started hiking a couple years ago, and we have so many great hikes. And then I love the water. My mom had lived on the river in Post Falls when she was alive, and so we got to spend a lot of time in the river there and kayaking and swimming, and it's just a beautiful area. So all the above, and skiing, a little bit of snow skiing as well. So I just love our area, even when it's raining like this all the time.
And we just mentioned that before we got started recording that you have an adult son that's living at home with you.
Yes.
And I just ask about that because I think that everybody has some kind of connection to that somewhere in their family or friend group, and we need to talk about how do we care for folks like that. So do you have a story you'd like to tell about something your son has taught you?
Oh, my son has taught me so much. I have learned so much from him. He's really my inspiration for doing this. He's the reason why I got so involved with the schools, and then ended up being on the school board, and ending up doing what I'm doing now, and then expanding that beyond education. And I was a pretty type A personality growing up. I was very accomplished, with my golf. I was nationally renowned and did well. And a son with special needs oftentimes just throws that up in the air. He certainly did me. He rocked my world. But it's taught me so much about how everybody learns different, and what a different learner, the assets that they can bring, even though they don't fit in a box, which is really such a blessing, that it can bring to not just family and friends' lives, but really to the community. And as you were saying, what we were talking about before, I think they have so many assets that they can bring and solutions to our worlds if we can expand our thinking and allow it to happen instead of trying to fit them into a box. There's a great book called Square Peg that I read probably about 10 years ago now, and it really is really good. It talks about education, but how oftentimes we're trying to fit kids into these boxes that they've got so much passions and interests and skills. If we can just let them thrive and let them go and learn on that, I think we could learn so much more from them. So he's taught me so much. Forever grateful. My life was forever changed for sure.
Well, and this campaign could change your life as well. So this is an opportunity to wrap this conversation up with your 1-minute speech. Why should people vote for MJ Bolt for State Representative for 4th Legislative District?
I appreciate that question. And part of the reason is because I've been a community advocate for over 15 years, as you heard about. Partly started with my kids and being involved with the schools, and it's just extended on. I helped create the Greater Valley support network that was around our homeless children and our children in transitionary housing. And so that is just me. I see kind of where the need is, and I jump in to see how can we solve that problem, and with our people and our citizens at heart. With everything that we've seen over the last couple of years, I'm just gravely concerned about the direction our state is going. And I will bring that passion that I have, that I've served on education committees and boards, to this position of serving the people in the 4th District as well as the rest of the state. I'm passionate about our freedoms. I'm passionate about lowering the burden, or lifting the burden off of our citizens, off our small businesses, the regulatory burdens that are on there, limiting our governor's emergency powers. I will just bring that passion to this and listen to the people, listen to our stakeholders to say, how can we solve these problems the best way possible? And that's why I believe you should vote for me this fall.
Okay, well, thank you for joining me. That's MJ Bolt, running for State Legislature, 4th Legislative District.
Yes,
thank you.
Thank you.
From Chud Sr. to Dick Wendell, to Kristen and myself.
And now to our kids.
Our goal is to help people drive for generations.
From roll-up windows to power everything. From stick to automatic. From gas to electric.
No one can totally predict what technology is coming our way.
But I can guarantee we will be here before and after the sale, giving you the confidence for generations to come.
That's the Wendell Way. Drive for generations.
Hey voters, join me, Kirk Cameron, on Saturday, September 24th with We Believe, We Vote at the Spokane Convention Center for a night of celebrating biblical citizenship.
Join We Believe We Vote for our annual fundraiser on Saturday, September 24th, 2022 with Kirk Cameron. For tickets and event information, please visit WeBelieveWeVote.com. That's WeBelieveWeVote.com. We'll see you there.
Weather in the inland Northwest can wear you down. And if your gutters are in poor condition or you do not have gutters, you could suffer damage that could cost a fortune to fix. Rainman Seamless Rain Gutters has almost 30 years of professional experience in serving the inland Northwest region and strives to ensure customer service that is second to none from the time you call to the end of the project.